Welcome back from that short break, and of course we will have a game before the Arsenal game, the curtain raiser on Sunday afternoon. Will be Manchester United taking on a Leicester side that drew against Liverpool in midweek at the King Power Stadium in a game that both teams certainly also have all to play for. Yeah, they all have all to play for. Leicester City, having got a good result at Anfield, should be looking at getting another good result when they are the King Power. Man United, the winning streak has come to an end. So, but they're still unbeaten. They're still unbeaten, of course. But they'll be looking at to bounce back, because everyone has been asking what do they do when they drop points, and we've now seen that. What do they do next after having dropped points is now what we wait for. Very interesting. And of course, Leicester City, like we said, coming into this game with a positive performance, going behind Liverpool early on in the game. So you have to give them a lot of credit for staying in the game and then finally getting that equalizer in late in the second half. And of course, they had a brilliant chance where Maguire squared that ball, but Firmino was ready to take that out. It was a very, very interesting performance. Manchester United have to certainly be wary of this Leicester side. They have certainly the firepower up front to cause problems. But for Manchester United, they've shown under the new manager that they can fight back. 2-0 it was at Burnley. They managed to fight back and draw that game 2-2. I mean, the fighting spirit is back. Even if Man United dropped points, 3 minutes to go plus added time, and you're able to squeeze out a draw, Tony, from 2-0. I thought that showed the old Man United. The faggy days are back, and this is a fixture where they should be able to come up, start on the front foot, and see if you can get an early goal and see off such a game, because the fight for top 4 is still on. They dropped points against Burnley, and now that means they're lagging by 2 points. So they need to come back to the mix. We know Arsenal, without playing, managed to squeeze into the 4th spot. So United will be looking at something like that. Very interesting. And of course, we know that in the transfer window, Leicester City have been able to acquire Yuri Tielemans, that very interesting midfielder from Monaco. Of course, Adrien Silva had to go the other way. Very, very interesting player, in my opinion. I love how he plays in the midfield. But this game suddenly might be coming too early for him. For Manchester United, they've not had significant transfer activity, apart from the news that Fellaini might be joining that Chinese team, Dalian Yifan. Yeah, I think so. This Man United team, to me, looks to be the complete side. Just a few pieces needed to put right there, and they should be striking well. There's been talk about Lukaku playing with Rashford. Is it an experiment that Ghana Solskjaer tried and failed? It failed absolutely. And if Martial is fit to play, then I expect Lukaku to go back to the bench. Big news, of course, there. We know that Martial has extended his contract at Manchester United. Long-term deal that he signed midweek, so which was a very positive piece of news for Manchester United fans there. And of course, we know that Sanchez is now fully back, pushing for a place in this particular game. That game comes on Sunday afternoon. Of course, big game there. I've gone for 2-1 win for Manchester. I've gone for 2-1. Big predictions coming there, of course. And we'll kick things off on Saturday with another mouth-watering clash. Tottenham Hotspur, sitting third, almost safe from the 4th spot battle. There, they'll be taking on Newcastle, a team that beat Manchester City in midweek. Shall we see another upset? No, I don't expect. I don't expect an upset. But this is a team that will be buoyed when they are going to the Wembley, having a result, Tony, a win over Man City. That is what every team dreams of, whether you're at home or away. And I think even the big side, even the big sides, Tony. And I think Newcastle, having got that result, should be really trying to go and pushing Tottenham. The good news for Tottenham, Tony, is Son came back, and it's like a revelation. He looks reborn, and it's firing. This has been the greatest news, Tony, for Pochettino, Son coming back. Very interesting. And of course, like you said, in the transfer window, they didn't have a lot of activity there, letting Moussa Dembele go to China. Of course, the only big piece of transfer news that they had there for Newcastle. Mike Ashley has dusted off the wallet and broken the bank and given Rafa Benitez the striker that he wanted. He has signed Almiron on a record transfer for Newcastle, £20 million. That's something that's not heard of in Newcastle terms. No, he certainly should be excited. Rafa Benitez, he's excited, but I think it's the fans who are most excited, because that signing makes sure that Benitez is giving you some time in the club. I think he can now see off at the end of the season. But it's also huge news for Salmon Rondon, Tony. He's been a lone striker there for a lot of games, and having a proven number 10, I think, will be
a good pairing for the two.
We can't wait to see how those two will work up front together in the Newcastle side that's seemingly out of the relegation race, but they certainly cannot rest on their laurels. They must keep those positive performances going, and of course Kane is still out for Tottenham Hotspur, and now they have Llorente trying to push there. He got a positive performance in midweek, coming up with a goal there. The coach will be very, very interested in that. I've gone for 3-1 Spurs.
I think Tottenham will win this, but I've gone for 2-0.
Big game that, and of course after that on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. we'll be seeing Chelsea, the team that find themselves out of the top 4 for the first time this season. Very, very interesting. They'll be taking on a bottom-placed Huddersfield side in what I think is the most straightforward game of the weekend. I've gone for 4-0.
I think Chelsea will win this 3-0. They need a reaction. Having lost 4-0 at Bournemouth, Chelsea
in one of the poorest performances.
The worst in 23 years. That is so devastating. And Sarri must put his troops right back in check and then start delivering.
There's been talk in the dressing corridor that the coach is at crossroads with the players. He didn't travel with them after the Bournemouth game.
I mean, that is bad news because, Tony, Chelsea players are players who can down their tools. We've seen that in over 2 seasons. And Sarri
for Mourinho and for Conte.
Yeah, Sarri should take care of this Chelsea team. They are professionals, but sometimes they can decide not to be.
Big news at Chelsea there, and of course they got their man in Gonzalo Higuain up front. They've transferred Morata out on loan to Atletico Madrid with an option to buy at the end of the season. So we'll be waiting to see how Higuain boosts the chances up front for Chelsea. We've been talking all season that they've been struggling up front, and of course Olivier Giroud must now also be trying to put in the positive performances to ensure that he's not forgotten with Gonzalo Higuain's arrival here and of course they lost Fabregas in that transfer window to Monaco in a £10 million deal there. So Chelsea will be looking to push on. 47 points for them in 5th place, just behind Arsenal on goal difference after that 4-0 mauling at Bournemouth. Monday night, we'll be having another big game. West Ham at the London Stadium will be taking on the table toppers, Liverpool FC. Yeah,
it's again a hard game. West Ham, Liverpool, always hard game. Even if the scores have been going, the Liverpool side in the recent games. The problem, Tony, we have seen in the last game that Liverpool can ooze the tension out to the fans and the players too, and are failing to contain the pressure. And Man City having played before Liverpool, I think this is another tricky game, especially if City is able to get a win. Then this will be interesting.
It will be very interesting. Of course, both teams come into this game with poor performances in midweek, but it's for West Ham where you have to look. They lost 3 goals to 0 against a blistering Wolves side. So Mr. Manuel Pellegrini has to look around him and think how he needs to re-energize these players. They've managed to keep Marko Arnautovic from that Chinese deal that was looming, and they should be able to put themselves together. Felipe Anderson started the season well. He's fallen off a little bit. Sami Nasri has been acquired. Unfortunately for them, he got an injury. So they suddenly have the quality in this West Ham side. They must look to get those things going for them on Monday night against a Liverpool side that also, like we said, cannot afford any more slip-ups.
No, they
5 points ahead of Man City. If Man City win, that they come into the game on 2 points ahead, which piles a lot of pressure on these players. Mohamed Salah seems to have dipped for me. He's not getting the goals, but they suddenly need some kind of leadership. Yeah,
they need leadership, and I think this all comes from Van Dijk. Is the only leader I see right now who looks to be able to calm down the pressure. But Salah has to start firing. Firmino is busy in the pitch, but he's a number 9. He must get goals for this side. And if West Ham score, Tony, fast, there's going to be a lot for Liverpool to do. But it's again a game I think Liverpool will try to calm down the nerves and sit through.
Don't forget, we say Salah has dipped, but he's the top scorer in the division on 16 goals. So it will be very, very interesting. He suddenly picks his moments, and this is one of the games where he must be on song for this particular one. Monday night, West Ham will be taking on Liverpool. I've gone for 2-0 Liverpool.
I think Liverpool win 3-1.
Big games across the league. There are big predictions. We'll be giving you all the rest on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram handles. Don't forget, it's the Tony and Tim Show across all platforms, as well as YouTube, for you never to miss any video. And of course, click the subscribe button. Around the leagues, we have a big game in Italy on Saturday afternoon. AS Roma, fresh from a 7-1 humbling by Fiorentina, will be taking on fourth place AC Milan, who have progressed in the Coppa Italia. They are from midweek with 2 goals from their superstar signing, Piatek there. This is a game where 2 teams are separated by 1 point in the fight for Champions League football next season. Yeah,
it's a huge game, and I think Roma, having lost by that huge margin, they need something to show the fans that they are still a team that should be playing and competing for trophies. And I think Roma will be able to do something. But Piatek has been amazing in his first game. I think they don't miss Higuain anymore.
Very interesting, of course. Big game for that one. Roma will be taking on AC Milan on the weekend. And of course, in a very big happening this Sunday, the Smack League returns at the Legends Rugby Club on Sunday morning. Happening all day with lots of the teams taking on the action, with the Alps, the team that's currently 13th in the log, hosting the day. Don't miss that. Make sure you come there with your family. Lots of fun activities, lots of games to be part of there in that particular outing at Legends Club. And of course, with that, we have nothing left to say. Goodbye and enjoy the weekend of football.
Goodbye.